I'm born to cross. I'm counting the gains and I'm burning the low. My phone is my compass, the satellite's my guide. I got a digital engine burning deep inside. From the city concrete to the mountain wood, riding my contract in my own red blood. The trail is calling and it don't take no. I got 1,000,000 miles left to go. It's a world without borders, a map without end. Every mile I conquer is a digital friend. I'm out on the MoveQuest trail. I'm a hurricane wind in a tattered sail. Every step is a token, every mile is a win. I'm shedding the past and the original sin. Tracked by the light, rewarded by the sun. The quest ain't over till the work is done. MoveQuest trail. Said go the extra mile. I'm doing it now with a honest smile. Bedrolls are shouting, don't you dare slow down. I'm the king of the trail, I don't need a crown. Move to earn is the code I live. I got a lot to take, cause I got a lot to give. My GPS is humming a victory song. This is where the brave and the bold belong. Every mile is a win. I'm shedding the past and the original sin. Tracked by the light, rewarded by the sun. The quest ain't over till the work is done. Step, minute, run, minute. I'm the master of the circuit. The world is the gym, the quest is the way. I'm earning the glory of a brand new day. I ain't trading minutes for a paper wage. I'm writing my own story on a digital page. Every step is a heartbeat, every breath is a tone. I'm uploading the fire from the depths of my soul. The satellite is watching, the ledger's open wide. There ain't no room for lazy, and there ain't no place to hide. MoveQuest calling, the signal is green. I'm the most valuable motor in this whole machine. This is my proof of life, forged in the struggle and the daily strife. I'm moving to earn, I'm earning to grow. From the top of the mountain to the valley below, it's a blockchain bond that you cannot break. My sweat is the currency, my life is the stake. Proof of life. They used to say wealth was a suit and a tie, but a man in a cage is just waiting Wake it up, lace it up, turn it up, tighten up. Reps on the rack, numbers on the screen. Every single squat feeds the machine. Sweat on the floor, data in the veins. Power in my stride, charging up the gains. Push through the burn, feel the meters climb. Every clean form, every perfect time. Body is the rig, motion is the code. Stronger every set, leveling the load. Tighten up, let the muscle mind. Every move turn an effort into shine. Step, lift, breathe. Watch the count erupt. Highest power on the block when we tighten up. Tighten up, feel the system sink. Each deep lunge like a fuel-rich link. Built from grit, never out of luck. We don't give in, we just tighten up. Tighten up. Tighten up. Wake at the dawn, hit another round. Calories to credits in the battleground. Friends in the gym, crew on the app. All of us aligned on the same roadmap. Straps on the bar, heartbeat in a race. Chasing bigger stats while we shape this place. Steel in my core, fire in my lungs. Every single rep pays out in the long run. Tighten up, let the muscle mind. Every move turn an effort into shine. Step, lift, breathe. Watch the count erupt. Highest power on the block when we tighten up. Tighten up, feel the system sink. Each deep lunge like a fuel-rich link. Built from grit, never out of luck. We don't give in, we just tighten up. Stack that strength, go the length, earn that crown. Tighten up, we don't power down. Hey, tighten up, let the muscle mind. Every move turn an effort into shine. Step, lift, breathe. Watch the count erupt. Highest power on the block when we tighten up. Tighten up, feel the system sink. Each deep lunge like a fuel-rich link. Built from grit, never out of luck. We don't give in, we just tighten up. Tighten up, tighten up. Hey. Face up tight, feel the ground shake. Every step's a dollar I make. Left foot, right foot, it's a game we play. Health and wealth in a single sway. Step by step, watch me climb. Every move I'm cashing time. Run, walk, jump, it's all mine. Get healthy, get wealthy, redefine. Yeah, get healthy, get wealthy, redefine. What's my currency? No bank in sight. Sunrise to sunset, I own the night. Every stretch, every twist has a price. This grind pays twice, it's paradise. No excuses, no delay. Every motion makes my pay. Yeah, hey, step by step, watch me climb. Every move I'm cashing time. Run, walk, jump, it's all mine. Get healthy, get wealthy, redefine. Hey, step by step, watch me climb. Every move I'm cashing time. Run, walk, jump, it's all mine. Get healthy, get wealthy, redefine. Stumble, fall, I'm still in the race. Each bruise another badge I embrace. Momentum builds, can't erase the sound of coins in every pace. Every pace, every pace. Yeah, come on. Get healthy, get wealthy, redefine.
All right, all right. Once again, we want to welcome everybody to our Tuesday night MoveQuest update call where we get all the deets on everything taking place inside the MoveQuest community. Hope all of you have had a wonderful week so far, and it's only set the stage for the rest of it. I know it will be great. As always, we have our supporting cast here and our guest speaker for the evening, Miss Lynette Arden, who's going to share new information with each and every one of us. But before we get started, I always like to touch base with Mr. Hayden Andre to see what information he has to share in little tidbits. How are you doing today, sir?
Hey, Herschel Crow, you know me, always energized, lit up, and super excited about success. How you doing?
Oh man, couldn't be better. Couldn't be better.
Yeah, listen, we always welcome everybody out on this Tuesday night, explosive Tuesday night event. And for those of you who don't know me, my name is Hayden. I always refer to myself as the friendly neighborhood digital asset investor. That's because I offer my help to everyone. Anybody who's looking to get some assistance to learn more about crypto, learn more about safety, security, and best practices about crypto, digital assets, and all of the above. I'm there to offer a helping hand. Even just as a neighbor, you need some sugar and you're living close to me and you're short on an ingredient for a cake or something like that. All you got to do is knock on my door and I'll be able to help you out. So, that being said, for those of you who are keeping track of the multi-chain mining expansion challenge, today is day number 109. Huge congratulations to everybody who's hitting their target so far. Now, being on day number 109, this is a huge promo when you're communicating the value proposition of MoveQuest to anyone. Because a person who starts taking action today by simply being consistent with submitting proof of physical activity for 30 days of the remaining 43 days of this challenge, they're going to receive 15% of the mining power that they're mining with for those 30 days. Now, you're going to have to check the website to go over the fine-tooth details, all the details supporting this challenge. So make sure that you're visiting www.movequest.com to check out the details, especially for your personal status. Those of you who are still in the 90 and 60-day run, all you got to do is check out the official MoveQuest website on the dashboard, connect your wallet, and make sure that anybody who is thinking about whether they're done or not, you got to check to make sure that your status says 100% complete before making any adjustments. So that being said, connect your wallet and all the details will be there. Now, just a quick reminder. Please, 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 please pay very close attention when executing transactions. The sad reality is dishonest people do exist and they're looking to get ahead at your expense. So protect your wallet and your assets with common sense. Pay attention to the basics of safety, security, and best practices. The MoveQuest website will have information regarding ways to protect yourself. We cover these details every single Saturday afternoon at 12 o'clock Eastern Standard Time for the Super Saturday event. And we always, at every event, encourage you to educate those of you who are assisting to other people. When you're assisting other people to get started with the world of Web3, crypto, and blockchain, make sure that you're covering safety, security, and best practices. Don't take shortcuts. Now, lastly, big thanks to those of you who have made steps to check out the official MoveQuest social media accounts: Facebook, Instagram, X, YouTube. And please continue to hit the subscribe button, smash the like button, leave a comment, share the posts. And massive thanks to those of you who connected with me personally on Instagram and TikTok. For those of you who haven't yet and want to know how, my handle is hayden.mq, hayden.mq. That's all for tonight, Mr. Herschel Crow. Machine mode all day, every day. Stay focused, everyone. Stay rich, max out, and level up.
All right, all right. Once again, we want to thank you, Mr. Hayden, for sharing that information with us. And man, I had a brief moment to sample some creativity that is constantly being pumped out of the MoveQuest family. Got a new track we're gonna close it out with tonight, thanks to Mr. Leonard Long. Or whatever. I think you're gonna like this one too, Miss Lynette. But without further ado, we're gonna go ahead and yield the floor to Miss Lynette for the evening so she can go ahead and share what she wants to share with us today. How are you doing, man?
I'm good. I'm good. I can't complain. I think everything's freezing up on me. There we go. I actually have decent enough Wi-Fi. I think I can actually have my video on for a minute anyway, right? Let's see. I got lots of things. I want to keep it, sort of hate going way, way late on these Zooms, but we do have some good stuff to go over tonight. I'll start with the simple stuff. We're getting ready to add the MoveQuest training modules that I've been creating now for probably about a year anyway, so that we can help people that are new to crypto learn, and they're going to be able to earn Q-chips. Okay, so they're going to be able to get the benefit of learning about crypto and the right way. And then also being introduced into the mining. They'll have the Q chips, so they can, put their Q chips together to mint that first miner to start mining along with their phantom miners. But this way they're going to be able to learn the entire system so that people don't get, overwhelmed, I guess, or feel like they're lost. You guys have seen that we've updated the dashboard. It's not perfect, but I think what it has done is it'll help you find things. I mean, I got lost on our dashboard trying to find things. And so this makes it very simple. I'm going to have Waleed add a search bar at the top of it. So if you have a topic you want to search, you'll be able to search, and it'll, hopefully, if he's able to do that, you'll be able to find it quickly so you don't have to read until you memorize all the lines. But it also allows us to add some other things. You can find our social channels there. We'll add the light paper and a bunch of other stuff to that dashboard. We are working on getting the challenges done, so that's going to be fun to do. We've got a couple of other things I'm not releasing yet that we're working on that maybe here in the next week or so you'll be able to see. And then I kind of wanted to touch base on the chain, our blockchain validators, because this is going to be a little different. And I have to read a little bit of what I wrote here because it's pretty extensive. I'm not going to go over all of it, but I want you guys to be prepared and not down the road say, well, we didn't know, because I know we had that mirrored miner challenge that was going, and some people have stopped submitting. If you want to be a validator, it doesn't work like validating does in your traditional crypto. In traditional crypto, the biggest wallets have the most validating power. The early insiders are the ones that, usually win in the validating piece. And the average person is just kind of along for the ride. I know this may be new for a lot of people. I'm a validator on a couple of different blockchains. And it's a good thing to be able to do. And so it'll be good on the MoveQuest blockchain as well. The validation, to be a validator on our blockchain, it's going to be based on your activity, your consistency, your commitment, okay, to MoveQuest and obviously the blockchain. So we are going to be introducing a validator score, okay? And so every single person that is inside MoveQuest will have a score, and it will represent your participation, your contribution, and your role in the ecosystem. And as it grows, you do three simple things. You move, you participate, and you hold, okay? Let's see, I got to go over here. So the first one is going to be your proof of physical activity. So every time you are submitting that proof of physical activity, you're not just mining and farming, but you're also going to be validating the network. Okay, the more consistent you are, the stronger your score becomes. The second is going to be your commitment. Okay, participating in the hatcheries, locking into the ecosystem. That is stabilizing our ecosystem, the MoveQuest ecosystem. So that commitment will also increase your validator score. And then simply holding the MoveQuest token. That means that you're a part of the network, that you're part of the distribution, and all of that matters when you're talking about blockchain. So in our blockchain, your influence as a validator is not a purchase. It doesn't mean you have to invest tons of money. It's not based on money. It's not based on any of that. It's based on your participation within the ecosystem. The most active people are going to rise up into the validator range, okay, to be a validator. And then as your score increases, more people can become those validators. So the most consistent people are the ones that will win, in validating. Of course, as we grow and our blockchain grows, it'll require more validators. You don't need as many right in the beginning, but it's the most committed people that are going to gain influence, not the loudest, not the richest, the most engaged. Okay, so since this is a proof of physical activity mining, we're going to incorporate part of that into the validation as well. So we'll also be introducing levels, okay, that'll be tied to your validator score. So as your score increases, you move up in rank. With that comes more benefits, more opportunities, more visibility inside the network. So you're no longer just a user, but you're actually building your position within that chain. So I'm going to map everything out. Hopefully by Thursday, I'll have it on a document for you. I want to have it, verified by Waleed that everything that I have put together is going to work appropriately. And so we will be getting things set up so that you can start calculating that validator score. So you do want to make sure you're submitting that proof of physical activity daily. You want to make sure you stay consistent because you want to strengthen your validator score for your position there. And we will, if I got to check on this too, but I want to have a leaderboard there so that people can watch their wallet and see where you are on the leaderboard as a validator. So your top validators, they'll be recognized. Top performers will be rewarded. Early participants will always have that advantage. So that's something for you guys to think on. Participating in the ecosystem, it's going to have a major role in where you rank as far as validators on our blockchain. And we'll be letting more things out of the bag here soon on the blockchain. But it's exciting. I did let you guys know that we are working on the Binance Smart Chain. I know that's always a question that comes up. That chain is nowhere near as advanced as our MoveQuest blockchain will be with MoveQuest and as where Avalanche is right now. So that's being updated right now, along with the other blockchains also, with the smart contracts and whatnot coming together. The GFAM is not going to have, we've already burned out 2 billion of the GFAM tokens. I'll be explaining that on just a call for the Binance Smart Chain as we get a little bit closer as to exactly how that works with the GFAM. So the ecosystem will be drawing that GFAM in. It's already got quite a bit, just like it does of the MoveQuest on the Avalanche chain. And so most of that will be removed from circulation permanently, and it'll just start to drive up that market value. So the GFAM is going to kind of have more similar to a Q-chip effect, except for the Q-chip hasn't been listed yet. There's going to be a lot of other plans for the Q-chip too. So just letting you guys know, we are working on that. The claims are paused on purpose because we did burn the 2 billion GFAM tokens out of the max supply. The 45,000 GFAM tokens a day that were being mined are not being mined. Okay, not that many anymore. That's been cut way down. You know what that is as well. So all of those claims got paused on the same day for everybody, and it will reflect the new mining distribution rate. And the Binance Smart Chain will also have a dynamic mining, as well as all of the other chains will have as well. The MoveQuest token that's on the Binance Smart Chain will not be used. It will be converted over to the wrapped MoveQuest. And so we have on file when we were doing the liquidity raise, we had an amount that each person, it's in the smart contract, what you received in MoveQuest, for what amount was spent. That will be converted over to whatever the market value is of this. So you won't lose any value in those MoveQuest tokens, but they won't be on the Binance Smart Chain. They have to be wrapped. Those are not wrapped. So you'll be converting them, but it will remain within the same tokenomics structure as MoveQuest is right now. MoveQuest will no longer be recognized as a token. Once we bring up our blockchain, it will become a coin, which is native to our chain. So just so everybody understands that there's going to be some changes taking place there. Nothing that's a negative impact on you. What would be negative is if, we converted. At the time, we weren't talking about being up on the Avalanche chain. Binance chain was going to be the kickoff. But for whatever reason, that was not, the Binance Smart Chain just was not getting the traction. I don't know why. Avalanche Chain just took right off. We were able to do our proof of concept and the MoveQuest token there, but this was before we were talking about doing, building our own blockchain. That was 2 years ago, and it's probably about the same time that Waleed started doing that blockchain. So some things have changed significantly when you start talking about bringing in a blockchain, having our own blockchain, having our own MoveQuest wallet. And so having the different tokens on the two different chains, that's not going to work. It's going to be one liquidity pool with a bridge to all chains. All right. So we're not going to deal with the oversaturation of tokens or having to have 6 pools. It will be one pool only. And let's see. Oh, next thing I told you guys I was going to go over was the dynamic mining, fees. I do not completely have that done. I will show you if I can bring this up. Let me see here. I've been working on this for several days. I'm trying to get this on a document. There we go. That I can just make available on the website for people to view, because it's kind of a good thing. I don't know, Waleed won't be able necessarily to program it in, but it should be a spreadsheet that you would be able to download. Once I send this over to him, you guys will be able to see. Oh, you guys were doing really good too. Our circulation, the MoveQuest token is down to I think it was 170, almost 173,000 in circulation. The ecosystem, you guys, you've been doing great. There was a little bit of overselling today. The ecosystem went in and, corrected that. But if we can keep it up there, then the ecosystem will be able to come in. It will be able to inject that liquidity to stabilize that market value. If it dips below the, $7 mark, it'll probably just let it fall back down into the $6 range. I'm not telling you 100%. I'm just telling you algorithmic wise, looking at what has been taking place. It did push over the $7 mark and it stayed there. That's a good thing. That's what the system is looking for, right? As to support that higher market value. A lot of times what you'll see is, a token will increase and then you get everybody like, oh, I gotta sell. And then they just bring the price back down again. And in that situation, our ecosystem would just inject more liquidity to stabilize the lower market value. But if it's increasing and it consistently stays there, even with having to do a few market corrections because it knows what its balance is as far as what it will inject or not inject, how high or how low it can go. I think looking at the algorithm, it was about the mid $7 range, based on the last trends. I think it was like $7.59. So, if it can stay up in this area, then you'll see it just stabilize, which is a good thing, because then what happens next is you'll start to see it move into the $8 range. Having the market value increase slow and consistently with liquidity to stabilize it at each market value increase, that's a good thing. Seeing a market value go too high too fast and then just retrace and go back down again is not a good thing. So I like seeing this. And so I was really happy yesterday to see that it actually was it, because as soon as it started going over that, I'm like, I was looking at my watch going, I give it 30 minutes and it'll be back down to $6.50. And I'm like, whoa, it just keeps going up. This is for 2 days. Kept going up. Well, then the ecosystem will give it another boost, kick it up a little bit more. Because here's the thing, you got to understand. Our ecosystem and our algorithm wants to buy MoveQuest as low as possible too, right? It doesn't want to buy it when it's, $25, $50, $100. I mean, it will still buy it at that market value, but it can really, it can go a lot further buying it lower. So as the market value goes up, when it's taken that MoveQuest, pairing it to USDT, if it buys more at the lower market value, and then when the market value increases, it uses less MoveQuest to pair it to that USDT, to inject that liquidity. So it's all a good thing when it can buy. Yeah. Who's bringing this up? Is that you, Herschel?
Yes, that's me. I'm bringing it
Yep.
up. You had a community member that, It's perfect timing. Yesterday asked me whether or not the having a fluid liquidity pool or being closer to a fluid liquidity pool had anything to do with how these bars or chart actually reads on the screen
Mhm.
right here,
Yeah, it
or
absolutely does.
or what have you.
Yeah,
So,
because you see, even when they sell, and they
hmm
can be selling hundreds of dollars worth, even a couple $1,000s worth, and you
hmm
really don't see, that drop. You see
right.
it just kind of staying steady, and that's the stable market value right there. That's where the ecosystem has stabilized it, which is good. And then you don't see it really go up a whole lot. Um, you know, so for example, way back when the token was listed, if somebody had bought, $10,000 worth of MoveQuest, it would have boosted it way up several dollars, because there wasn't much liquidity in there. So it was very inflated market values, which is normal when a new token is listed, especially if it has a following or, people that are watching it or, taking part in the project. And then you've seen it, start to slowly come back. Because while that was fun to watch at market value, everybody who, can 1 + 1 = 2, can take the amount of tokens that are in circulation, multiply it by the market value of the token, and can clearly see there wasn't enough liquidity in there to really stabilize that $110 market value. And so then, as it started to come down, well, some people think that's a bad thing because normally in crypto, once it starts to come down, it just keeps going down until it's out, right? But that's not the case with MoveQuest because of the self-supporting ecosystem that's here, because it's all based on that peer-to-peer community engagement within the ecosystem. And so what it did was it just started to stabilize it. You've seen it really do some heavy injections probably 2 weeks or so ago, major heavy injections of liquidity. But that's because it can tell based on trends and, the market, and not only that, the number of people that are submitting. So our submission numbers actually had increased during that mirror challenge. Well, that also was a positive for a heavier injection, okay, into the liquidity pool. Well, then when you see, the mirror challenge is over and people start to come back down from their submissions, you see not so much heavy injection, but where it really did a good thing on the market value is even while some of the submissions were dropping off because people had finished their 90 days or whatever it was that they were doing, the market value still went up. Okay, so the demand for that token was still there. So even if submissions had dropped, the market value was still increasing. Okay, that's another solid, trigger point for the ecosystem with the liquidity injection. And so, yeah, when you've seen it, go up and then stabilize on the sells didn't bring it down. The buys will kind of bring it up a little bit. You can see those upward candles, but it's exactly what was happening. It's that the ecosystem had already stabilized the market. Remember, I was showing you guys that one time where the safe price point was $7, and I think it was 69 cents or something like that. Back when we were, I think we were in the $6 range or $6.25 range that it could support. So it prepares that liquidity pool for that higher market value so that when we do reach that point, it's already been stabilized, which is a really good thing. So you don't have to worry about, heavy crashing and all this other stuff. Even if it did, if somebody wanted to sell a decent amount of their tokens, the good thing is there's not heavy wallet holders, right? You got some people that have bought a lot of MoveQuest, tokens, but they're in the hatcheries. They're the long-term players, right? They're not people that are planning on selling anytime soon. So you don't, if you go and you look at the wallet holders, most of, 90 some 80, I'm going to just bring up, I can't, it's not in that spreadsheet. 86, I think we're almost at 86% of the MoveQuest is farming. Okay, they're in the hatcheries. That's amazing. Okay, first and foremost. Then you've got, that leaves what, 13, 14% that's, in the community hands. The rest of it is in smart contracts. And that meaning, the ecosystem smart contracts, the Boost contract, the Evolution contract, the Trailblazer contract, the Mining Dot contract, wherever, MoveQuest is coming in, the incubator, because people spend MoveQuest to mint the Vanguards through the incubator. So there's really there's not very much MoveQuest in circulation whatsoever. It's very, very low numbers. I mean, it's under 1 million, okay, but over almost 900,000 of those are staked in the hatchery, farming MoveQuest by the community, leaving only 170 some thousand that are floating around in wallets. Those are the ones that that people are that's what the ecosystem says, okay, these are going to be sold. Okay, that's what it's counting on. But everything else, when it's packed away nice and it's nice smart contract, safe haven, it is also a positive because it tells the ecosystem those are not MoveQuest that has to be worried about being sold. Don't have to, stress over that too much. We can focus just on, stabilizing the market for what is here and then preparing long term for the stability of that liquidity pool for the long term holders, which are farming the additional MoveQuest. So it's a pretty awesome system, if you ask me. Not because, I created the dang thing, but just because it's pretty awesome. There's nothing out here like this, you guys. Nothing. All right. So I got to get rid of that because that's not the one I wanted. I seriously just had this up. All right. What I'm going to show you right now, and I'll go into it deeper on Thursday. I'm only going to keep you guys for 15 more minutes. Make sure this is showing. I'm going to make this pretty quick. I don't want to overwhelm people with my crazy spreadsheets. All right. Here. This hasn't been updated, by the way, you guys. It's like 4,000 less than that. Here we go. I want to, kind of go over and show you guys how this system works. All right. And I'm going to do this. Now I'm going to just do it for 5,000 users. Okay. Now, what this doesn't include are any buys. Okay, just so you guys are all aware of this. This is just ecosystem working. I have us down at currently about 2,000 users. Okay, now we've got the Trailblazer miners, or we have the Phantom miners. So this right now is based on the Trailblazers when I go all the way across the spreadsheet. And I did it in pieces so that hopefully you guys understand, at least at this level. Okay, that doesn't go into everything. This is just one portion. We are saying that let's make our goal, right? Our community grows by 5,000 or re-engage. We've got over 10,000 users with MoveQuest, right? Engage the current community. Okay, and it would do this when you're talking about the daily proof of physical activity. In the submissions, this is that proof of physical activity. That would be what would be coming into the ecosystem on your proof of physical activity. This is only calculating at $2.25 on average per person, with the majority of the people mining with either Phantoms or Trailblazers, which would be $1.80. Okay, so it is a bit higher than this, but it's a safe place. Okay, so that you don't get an over projection, I should say, because this is a projection. I'm telling you, if our community grew by 5,000 people who were engaged in the ecosystem, what would this look like? So it's not a guarantee, but it's a very close estimate of what it would look like. The mining rate, I am going to move this back up. I have to change this because, see, the dynamic mining, as more people come in, there's only 7,200 MoveQuest a day that can be mined. Currently, okay, at 2,000, well, let me put this back up to 2.5. It's about 506 MoveQuest tokens, okay, that are being mined each and every day. There is about 3,100 that are being farmed in the hatchery. And so there's about 31, what's that, 4,400 that could be mined, 4,400, 4,200, somewhere in there, 4,200 MoveQuest tokens that can be mined through the ecosystem. And so as we do grow and those submissions increase, that this would begin to lower. okay, which is fine because the market value is it's always increasing. So basically what this is doing is it's saying, okay, there is going to be over the next 211 days. I use that because the tier 4 hatchery is 210 days. So it's like a cycle for me, so people can gauge, what this is doing. So it would be an average of about 24 people that begin using MoveQuest on their fitness and their mining journey. So you're looking at your proof of physical activity. Now, the project gets 10% of that. And then, so that would mean $4,098 would be banked for liquidity. Now, one thing you have to keep in mind, when our user base hits that 10,000 plus mark, liquidity just goes in on a daily basis because the ecosystem doesn't have to do market corrections any longer. It's already on its own, doing what it needs to do. The demand for that token is there. The community is growing. That's when you'll start to see daily liquidity. Proof of physical activity comes in, boom, in goes liquidity, in goes liquidity, in goes liquidity. That market correction is no longer a necessary thing because the system now is working, it's well balanced, and it's already got the liquidity there. Just so you guys understand that, right now it's different, right? Because the user base is so much smaller. But once we reach that threshold of that 10,000 plus users, and when I say plus, because it also depends on a couple of other factors. So it could be 10,800 before it triggers, to go into that everyday mode. It could be 11,000, but it's right within that range, just so everybody understands that, which that's a good thing because every day you're just, deepening that liquidity pool. That's when you know that this is really well on the road for that really good, solid liquidity pool. Now, with the proof of physical activity, it will use the banked MoveQuest, which we have almost 21 million that are already banked, that the ecosystem has already purchased or through market corrections absorbs the overselling of that MoveQuest. Project, of course, gets that 10%. So that's 90% that stays with the community. I keep asking people to do this, and nobody's been able to do it so far. Find a project that you get involved in the crypto space where 90% of anything you do stays in the ecosystem for the community, where the project only takes 10%. It's more the other way around with these other projects where they take 90% and give the community, if they even give the community, 10%. That's a very solid factor for MoveQuest because you know that when you are spending to submit your proof of physical activity to the blockchain to validate that physical activity, when you're minting miners, when you're unlocking doc slots, when you're buying boosts, you're backing your own physical movement because it becomes your liquidity. Okay, so everything you do, when people say, well, it's not really worth it with the fees, if they're, if I'm not mining enough at the current market value, is it really worth it to me? But you're the one who is backing that physical activity because 90% of that stays right there. Okay, it doesn't. When you get involved in other projects, you don't see that happen, is what I'm trying to say. The community has to provide that liquidity, and you get the LPTs, and then you can take it out whenever you want to. There's a big difference in how the system operates. Then section 2 are your miners, okay? You're going to mine with 18 Trailblazers. They're $100 each. That is a 50% affiliate commission direct, okay? It just pays a direct commission. So if you share MoveQuest with somebody, they want to mint a Trailblazer, you're going to make $50 of the 100. The project gets 10%. Okay, so if a person was to come into MoveQuest, mint 18 Trailblazers, the person who shared MoveQuest with that person is going to receive $900. The ecosystem is going to get 720, and the project is going to get 180. Okay, now here, 90% again stays with the community, 50% in direct commission, 40% to liquidity, and then it takes banked liquidity or the banked MoveQuest to pair it to that USDT. So when you see, we'll just round this up to $18,000, okay? When you see that, and then it takes banked liquidity, that $18,000 has now turned into $36,000. It's $18,000 worth of MoveQuest, $18,000 in USDT. This is a big deal as well when you're looking at the liquidity and the market value. Early on, it didn't have all that banked MoveQuest that it could use. It had to buy it and get that MoveQuest banked up. And we hadn't gone through the first year. At the end of each year, whatever hasn't been mined goes into the liquidity vault. Because if the dynamic mining, only so much goes out based on demand for that token, right? And so at the end of each year, August 1st, then whatever wasn't mined for that year will go into the liquidity vault, and then year 3 begins. And then year 4, and once year 4 is complete, it will do a halving just like Bitcoin does. So it takes the 17,000, we'll say 18,000, and it pairs it to $18,000 worth of MoveQuest. You've got $36,000 that goes into liquidity. And it's the same way over here. So that 4,000 a day is paired to $4,000 worth of MoveQuest that's already been banked. So your $4,000 in liquidity is actually 8,000. Okay, so it really becomes about 150% injection. Okay, then you've got section 3, which is the mining dock. Okay, so there's 2 sections to the mining dock slots 2 through 10. It takes AVAX. Now we do have coordinators, influencer managers that get up to, not always 30%, but up to 30% commission on the mining docks. If you share it with somebody who unlocks all 18 mining dock slots, you get a free Vanguard. So that's what the community gets on the dock slots. And then managers that coordinate the building and marketing and all that stuff, they do get a commission on that side. Now here, dock slots 2 through 10, it's 30% to the manager, up to 30%. Liquidity gets 50%, and the project gets 20% of 2 through 10. Why is that? Because the project can't sell MoveQuest. So when it comes over here to dock slots 11 through 18, it can't take 10% of the MoveQuest, because it would have to sell the MoveQuest, right, to get its 10% of operating costs or whatever that 10% is used for. Sometimes it's used for promotions, different things like that, but it can't take it from dock slots 11 through 18. So 100% of the MoveQuest that is used to unlock dock slots 11 through 18 goes right to the liquidity vault. It doesn't go out in commission for influencers or managers, and it doesn't go to the project. So the project gets the 20% here, doesn't have to sell the MoveQuest. So out of that, it's $1,800 on the mining dock slots 2 through 18, well, 1,700. It will cover 270 in net direct commission, 450 in liquidity, 180 to the project. Now, this is on these 24 users per day. Okay, this is a daily, this would be a daily occurrence if we were looking to reach, to grow by 5,000 people in our community, okay, over the next 211 days. This is what you'd see every single day taking place. Then you go to section 4, which is the liquidity. So what happens is, and I'm just going to show you here, it goes through and it adds up all the places that this USDT comes in. Now I want to explain something to you. There's been no buys as of yet calculated into any of these features, because you have to think, when people are unlocking the dock slots 11 through 18, they are new to our community. They don't have MoveQuest. They have to go to the exchange and buy that MoveQuest token to unlock those dock slots. And in several other places, if they want to evolve, if they want to go into the incubator, if they want to go into the hatchery, all these other things, they have to buy that MoveQuest to use it in the ecosystem. But in the sections I'm showing you here, I don't calculate those buys into the market value. So just showing you here, 5,000 people that, you know, are new to our community that get involved over the next, using this scenario, 211 days, would drive the market value up to $104 just by the ecosystem. Because remember, I didn't include any exchange buys for any of the pieces or features within the ecosystem, including the mining DAC. So what it does include is over here in the liquidity, all the USDT that came in, all the MoveQuests that came in. Okay, so we've got $31,000 worth of USDT. If every day you had, 24 new people join the community and get their trailblazers, unlock their DAC slots, $21,000 worth of MoveQuest. So we would need to use $10,496 of the USDT to buy MoveQuest. So it would be, the system would buy 1,454 MoveQuest tokens. Okay, so that the value of the MoveQuest matched the value of the USDT, and then it would be adding almost $64,000 a day to the liquidity pool. That's 24 people who are coming into our community. And mind you, it doesn't calculate any of the buys whatsoever. So when you get down here to the end of those 211 days, I'm just going to show you. I got to get to the liquidity. Let me see here. Sorry, guys. Oh, okay. There's the DAX slats. Oh, these max or something. 5,000. Where am I? Oh, okay. Here's liquidity. That was the USD. That's going in. Oh, here we are, right here in front of me. Okay. So at the end of the 211 days, just from the interaction in the ecosystem, your liquidity pool would have a liquidity depth of $25,670,000. Now, I'm going to show you two from the dynamic mining. Only 238,000 MoveQuest would have gone into circulation. All right. Now, here's the other thing that's important. The ecosystem had to buy and absorb the 395,000. So what does that mean? 633,000 is left over, okay, of what wasn't mined every single day. Because remember, you can mine, I've got here only 3,000 that could be mined, but it's really higher than that. It's like 4,100. So it actually, I'm going to put that here, 4,100. So it actually is 865,000 MoveQuest tokens that wouldn't be mined if we grew at this slow rate, okay? That would go into the liquidity vault for future liquidity. That's a big deal, okay? It didn't go into circulation, so there's not an oversaturated amount of MoveQuest. But what it did do, didn't go into my pocket, didn't go into Waleed's pocket, didn't go into anybody's pocket. It went into the liquidity vault to further back your tokens that you have been mining, so it can be paired to the MoveQuest, so that when we do reach those 10,000 plus people that have joined the MoveQuest community, it just keeps injecting that liquidity. Doesn't need to buy the MoveQuest anymore. Now it just needs to keep stabilizing it to avoid those inflated market values. Yeah, 238,000 MoveQuest tokens were mined. And if you take the 865,000 that weren't mined, deduct the 238,000 that were, that means the ecosystem absorbs 627,000 MoveQuest tokens, your future liquidity. Here I just go over what the, what goes in for the liquidity. Here's what I love too. When you're sharing MoveQuest and people do join our community and they start to use our fitness app, that's $9 million, right? That they're minting those miners with, but 4.5 million of that goes back into your pockets for sharing MoveQuest, and the other 3.6 million goes into the liquidity pool, paired to 3.6 million that's already been banked, and the project gets 900,000. That's what it would operate on from that piece right there. So in reality, the system is actually giving more back than the 9 million. Okay, you're probably going, well, how does that happen? So you've got the 3.6 million, plus it has to pair to 3.6 million. So it's putting in 7.2 million into liquidity because it's already got this MoveQuest, right? Already backed up, already banked up. And so when it has to pair it to that same dollar value. So it's 7.2 million in liquidity just from this piece right here, just the minting of the Trailblazers. Okay, plus the affiliate commission. So now we want to add the affiliate commission. 11,700,000. Well, how can that happen? Well, because remember this year we've already paid for that. We've already banked that. We've already been buying that for the last year and a half out of the exchange whenever somebody's been overselling it. So it's in a liquidity vault. So when you're looking at 9 million in Trailblazer mints, 4.5 million going back to the community, 7.2 million going into liquidity, that's an $11.7 million that stays with the community, more than what came in. The community, the ecosystem gives back more than what come in through those transactions, which is very powerful as well. The mining docs. Okay, same thing here, 10%, 900,000 because it's $1,800. $1,800 for the 18 Trailblazers, $1,800 when you unlock doc slots. You don't have to do them all at one time. I'm just giving you the full scope. Okay. Now, here's the other piece that's really exciting too. All right, guys. This is the total amount of MoveQuest that was mined. Oops. This is the total market value of that MoveQuest. So, again, the MoveQuest that is out in circulation would need this amount if everybody sold the whole thing. But the liquidity pool has got 10 million more than what is actually needed from what has been mined over that 211 days. This is a very stable system. And again, remember, this doesn't include anybody buying, and it does not include anybody selling what they were mining each day. Okay, so you got to think 506 come in. Are they going to farm? Are they going to hold? Or are they going to sell? But when you look at how much MoveQuest, you take that 506 that was mined there and you come down here to the liquidity, the system has to buy 1,454. So even though you want to plan on that 506 being sold, you have to look at what is the ecosystem going to buy when we start growing at that rate. It's triple almost what would be going out in the mining that the ecosystem would have to buy to match the USDT that needed to be injected in liquidity. You guys might have to watch this a few times, but that's part one. Okay. Now, I didn't finish some of this up. What was it? Users plus growth. Oh, this shows you here, like how the users, if you want to, come down here, like how many users would it take to get us to the $40 mark? We already have, I'm guessing 2,000. So 1,700 and you're around the $40 mark. Now, this is also the same with the existing user base. If 1,700 engaged and you had that consistent proof of physical activity being recorded to the blockchain, the ecosystem can also drive up that market value to that safe zone, okay? Because that's where it can stabilize at. So, yes, growing the community is important, but having the current community re-engage will also drive up that market value as well. So this is a really good measuring stick to kind of gauge, what the ecosystem can do, whether it be a re-engaged community or community growth, right? Because people fall off. Not everybody likes to go out and walk a couple hours a day or whatever. Not everybody's into fitness. Some people don't understand how that community engagement is stabilizing that liquidity pool, which is your future, right? That's your future wealth, the MoveQuest token, the value. MoveQuest doesn't get rich quick today. Okay, it is about long-term stability. We've never said get involved in MoveQuest and you'll, turn into a millionaire tomorrow, because we don't have that game here that your other crypto projects have. It's not, see who can get in the fastest, buy the most at the lowest, and who can exit the fastest before everybody pulls out their liquidity. There is no liquidity pulls, whales or anything like that here. It's a very stable, solid crypto project built, like I said, like a blockchain, so that you can depend on this. And it's all based on your own efforts. Okay, there's not a pool that everybody splits equally. It's based on your physical activity. The more you move, the more you mine, plain and simple. And, get to the $50 mark. We've already got the 2,000, pretty stable at the 2,000 mark submissions. If you look at 2,300 more people engaged in the ecosystem. That's not a lot, you guys. It takes hundreds of thousands of people in crypto projects to reach $52. You got Stefan, who had over 2 million users. And like I said, I kind of laugh about it. It's not funny probably, but it is their own fault because they didn't build their project properly. Can't get past a nickel. I don't even know if they can make it to 3 cents right now. And it's just going to keep getting worse. It's not going to get better. And that's millions of people. We have 2,000, that are actively submitting. We got a user base of about 10,000. And so, you're looking at, with a user base of 7,000 people, 5,000 added to our current 2,000, being at that minimum of $104. Now, if I put everything in here like I had it last night, and I chose to take it out because you don't know if somebody's going to buy or sell, right? So I don't want to project it. I just left that piece out. I just put in what the ecosystem would do in this scenario. It's $104. Okay, that's nothing. Now I'm going to take you up here. I'm going to just say, okay, 10,000, because we want the 10,000 users so that ecosystem goes into autopilot with daily, just daily injections, deepening that liquidity pool. You're looking at the $147 range, which some of you may say, well, it doesn't really make sense because it was 104. Why did it only go up by $40? It's because it's got all of the banked liquidity, right? And it's not putting in all the buys. Now, with 10,000 users, this market value would be up in the $600 to $700 range, just so you guys understand that. That's where you're actually looking at. But because of the way I've built this, I'm giving a very low, I'm telling you on the very lowest scale, because I don't want people to be disappointed. When you guys we get to that 10,000 users and you're like, oh my goodness, we're at, $600, $700. Our market value, Lynette said, would only be 147. That's because I'm not going to predict whether people are buying or selling. I did usually assume everybody would sell, everybody, and I put in the buys, and I would try to calculate it really close, which I do have that sheet for my own use, but I've decided not to share that one, just simply because, like I said, it's better to over or under show and watch it over deliver. I don't make any promises. These aren't guarantees, but these are the bare minimums of what the actual ecosystem does with this type of engagement. Now, throw in, the explorers. Okay, now you see that go up by quite a bit more. Vanguards, Titans, you've got higher proof of physical activity submissions that are going in. With the dynamic mining, what it will do, and in this case especially, and I can't really project that yet, I'm still working on our averages and stuff to get it really perfected. It has to be perfect, we can't use it. When you look at, okay, this is the proof of physical activity. You've got 512 MoveQuest tokens, okay, that would be mined that day at this market value. So I have over here, that would be $4,178, okay, right? To stabilize what went out in mining that day. 4178, and we're at 4607. Is that 46? Yeah. So a little bit over based on what the market value is. So in a dynamic mining scenario, that would go down, right? Just so that it makes sure that it covers it. Now, as the market value goes up, the submissions go up. Why? Because the community is growing. And so it continues to stabilize. But we are going to put the piece in there so that it can balance itself out. And you guys will see, how that takes place as soon as I get these numbers a little more perfected. I'm really paying attention to the averages based on the miners and what the average activity is. It's very difficult to do because you can't predict that kind of stuff. But you can look at past data and kind of get a little bit of that information. So hopefully, guys, that helped you understand a little bit of what we're doing. Hey, I made it to 8:01. Can you believe it? I cannot believe it. I didn't go to 8:30, 9 o'clock, but I'm sure we probably have some questions.
I was gonna say, you didn't leave us room.
Did that make sense, you guys?
Yes. No, definitely appreciate that. Definitely can see, how we can get to the spot where we definitely want to get to. And it is definitely doable. Do have a few questions, kind of want to run through real quick. Let me see. First one, we have a member that was trying to submit on the QuestNet or on the MoveQuest Quest testnet and was having difficulty doing so or claim on the Quest.
Waleed was working on that earlier today. He was updating the QuestNet. Gotta quit calling it QuestNet.
Yeah.
Because that's not what the name of it is. But I don't know if Waleed's on this call or not. Have you seen him?
I have. Yeah, he's here. I will give him the opportunity to answer that or share that with me or with us.
Yeah, he'd be your best bet.
Okay. And the things that you were talking about earlier in reference to the validator score, I believe I heard you say this, but there'll definitely be documentation that helps describe the criteria and so forth for all of that, correct?
100%. And Waleed and I still have to go over everything, to make sure. I mean, he pretty much, he can do anything that obviously we've seen that. Anything I can put my little brain to, he can code, it seems. So, but once I make sure and I give him all the mock-up and how that all is going to work, then we'll absolutely 100% get it documented. Our blockchain will have a white paper that explains all of its features and stuff as well. So it'll be very well documented. And yes, but I don't want people to feel like, if I wait and tell you guys when the blockchain is ready to deploy in the next, a few weeks or so. And by the way, to be a validator, you guys would be livid with me. And so those of you that are serious about that blockchain, you need to know now, and it's not counting like your type, not yet. Okay. Now I went deeper into this and like I said, I got to go through with Waleed. Do what you can afford to do. Okay. It's not a requirement that you have to mine with 18 miners. You can be mining with your phantoms. Okay. You're mining. It'll still get you into being a validator, but you will have to have your own miners to be a validator. But right now it still counts. It's engagement. And if, mining with one navigator, one trailblazer is what you can afford to, just do it because it shows consistency, and that's going to get your score, your validator score up there. So, it's about the engagement. It's not about how much money you're spending. It's about the consistency and it's about the engagement. It's not about the type of miners you use. It's not about how much you're spending in submission fees. It's about the consistency, the engagement, and the support of the ecosystem and the blockchain, plain and simple.
Right. Waleed, I know you're here as well. For those individuals,
Yes, I am. Hello.
for those individuals that have been submitting like religiously every single day since the inception of the Avalanche blockchain, will that be taken into consideration with their validator score?
Well, we don't know yet because I'm the one creating the validator score.
Okay.
So, yes, it will be taken into consideration because it's going to calculate in 10-day intervals. You're asking the wrong person. I'm the one steering the ship.
Both.
He's the one coding the ship. I'm the one that, I get a lot of help from you guys. Don't get me wrong, but yeah, Waleed, he doesn't even know yet how I'm making the validator piece work. I'm telling him how it's going to work. And then he's just going to make it work. That's how he is. That's how him and I
There you
operate.
go.
So that's about the consistency. And yes, okay, let's say that you were consistently submitting, right, for the Mirror Miner, and then you took a break. That's fine. It's not going to discount you if you get back to it again, right? And it's basically going to be looking at, streaks of engagement in days of like 10, 7, or 10. Okay, that's the way I'm setting this up in streaks so that people aren't discounted. You can keep your score. You may not get the same score as you did last week because you didn't submit for a few days, but those who are consistently submitting are going to pass you, right? Because you did take off a few days, but that doesn't mean it's going to count you out. It just means that you're not going to have the highest score. That's why I said, even if you're only mining with a few miners, okay, if you don't, you can't do the full boat, whatever, that's not what's important. It's about the consistency. It's about the physical activity. That's what's important right now before we launch this blockchain. It shows that we've got an engaged, supportive audience, and that is what's going to count when it comes to being a validator, because we know we can depend on you because you are here up front and center. Okay, so it does matter, but it's not going to count you out.
Got it. Got it. And before we forget, I want to circle back. Reason why we got Waleed up here. The MoveQuest testnet. Is that functioning the way it's supposed to? Have you been doing some updates on it? We just had one person
Yeah.
that asked about it.
Yes, we are doing some updates recently on the QuestNet, on the MoveQuest blockchain, so testnet. And I mean, it's normal to experience some issues right now with the claims and with the submissions as well. So we are working on that these days.
Gotcha. Okay. Okay. And validators. I mean, when a person is a validator, what is it that they actually get?
They get
We're
money.
yeah, you get paid. I mean, every time a transaction, you're validating every transaction that's taking place on that blockchain.
Right.
There's some wealthy people from being validators, trust me. It's a big
Absolutely.
piece. Go study it. You could be, if you hold 2,000 AVAX, you can be a validator on the AVAX chain. I'm a validator on the AVAX chain. There's other chains I'm validating on as well. So, it's as a validator. So yeah, but MoveQuest is going to be completely different than these other chains operate, because here it's not about the money. It's not about the MoveQuest that you hold. That's not what we're basing on. It's not about the money that you spent on miners. It's about your physical activity. It's about your commitment, your engagement. That's what, and your holding, right? Holding or being in the hatcheries. The hatcheries count towards you as a score. The holding in your wallet counts towards your score. Proof of physical activity counts towards your score. There's a lot of things that are going to count towards your validating score. But I have to get it all completed, and I have to finish it so that Waleed can wrap his head around it, make sure I don't have to change anything before I mark it all out in stone with exactly how this is going to work. But I'm giving you guys at least I'm giving you up front before it's too late and people get mad or upset because I didn't tell you that it is going to count. Okay, it is what matters to MoveQuest, right? We are a community-driven project. We're not an investor-driven project. We're not a driving in new money type of project. We're not that type of project. This project thrives from its peer-to-peer community. The more engagement, the healthier the ecosystem, the liquidity pool, and all of that is. You guys are literally, you're the engine to MoveQuest. And so when the submissions start to decrease because people want to take a break, they don't think the market value, you guys are missing the point. It's not today's market value that matters. It's the market value 6 months from now or a year from now that matters. Because 6 months from a year from now, let's say if you're mining one MoveQuest today, 6 months to a year from now, you might only be mining a quarter of a MoveQuest. Okay, that MoveQuest could be worth $1,000, Year one MoveQuest is worth 1,000, but 6 months down the road, it's only going to be worth, you're only mining 250 of that. You're mining the most MoveQuest than what is going to be mined, because even as new users become engaged with the project, it still can only mine up to that 4,100 more MoveQuest per day. So you're mining the most because it's going to keep decreasing. The mining difficulty is going to be continuing to increase, but the market value of the token increases. Okay, so that little bit of MoveQuest you're mining is still way worth it. And especially if you guys seen like the numbers at 100,000 users, or we don't even have to get to 100,000 users, you guys, and this token is already going to be close to the $55,000, $60,000 range. Okay, we don't need millions of users to have a healthy ecosystem here. We want millions of users, but we don't need that here. But we'll get that here just because we're going to get to stable, higher market values faster than other projects do with less people. We have our own MoveQuest, the MQT wallet. We have our own blockchain. We are a completely independent project of anything that's out there, and we've done it the right way. So while it might seem like things are slow now, at some point, MoveQuest is going to take a front row seat. And then it's going to be game over. And you guys who are here now, okay, maybe you went flush on your mining today, but you supported your ecosystem. This is your ecosystem. You need to support it. It's yours. 90% of it stays with your ecosystem. We get 10% for, to operate this puppy. That's it. 90% stays here. You are supporting your future with MoveQuest. So even if you're only getting a little bit of MoveQuest, and maybe it costs you 50 cents or $1 or $2 more than what the actual value of MoveQuest is, that's not the way it's going to be forever. And if you hold on to that MoveQuest and you wait, and however you set your system up, 80-20, 90-10, 60-40, whatever it is, and you keep some of it put away, when we hit that 25 to 50,000 users on MoveQuest, and you guys, that can happen overnight. Things just happen. There's so many things, in the works behind the scenes, and you'll just wake up one day and go, oh my gosh, how did that happen? It will literally happen like that. And then you're going to wish you had spent an extra $1 a day, because now you're missing 50 grand a day. That's going to happen to a lot of people who don't get this. And don't call me, because I'm going to be the first one that just says, well, we told you, but you wanted $10 instead of $100,000. Like literally, that's going to happen. And I don't feel sorry for people that don't manage their crypto properly. I just really don't. I have no sympathy, none.
Is there any way that when we have this,
common sense, right?
no, I understand. Is there any way that once we get the leaderboard and everything going, that it doesn't display everyone's full wallet address, or a way for it to maybe show their alias?
Yeah, we'll definitely figure that out, because they don't need their full wallet address showing. But probably because we want to get that avatar system, where you get your trophies, your badges, and have your little avatar. So maybe you'll name your avatar and it will be your avatar on the leaderboard. But we'll definitely keep the anonymity there.
Gotcha. All right. Let me see. Don't know about this one. I think it would be cool if we could submit like up to 3 days or more if possible. On occasion I miss, but I wish I wouldn't have.
Well, there's a reason why we do it this way. It's been so long ago that we made this decision. I can't really tell you without going back through all my notes, but a lot of it has to do with time zones and retrieval of the data on the blockchain so it doesn't time out, being able to optimize gas fees. There's so many things,
I can tell you.
that calculated that. Oh, yes, Wally,
Let
you
me
can.
yeah,
This is your
let me
badge.
explain. Let me explain the 2 days thing. Okay, so originally MoveQuest was designed so you need to submit every day.
Mhm.
Because of the time zone, some people, if we fix a fixed, let's say, day from midnight to midnight at a certain time zone, some people would not be able to submit because they are in another time zone, so they cannot submit for that day. So we've created the 2 days, meaning that it covers pretty much all the planet. So you can submit from there to there. So you are able to submit these 2 days. Now, the more days we add, the more delay you will have into claiming, because once we close these 2 days, meaning that we are sure that all over the planet people submitted for a given day, then we can confirm it's closed and is claimed. I mean, is able to be claimed. So we can do even 100 days, but if we do 100 days, you won't be able to claim your MoveQuest until the 100 days are passed. So right now it's 2 days. So you submit the 2 days. You're supposed to submit every day, and the second day is when you miss the submission, you can basically retrieve it and resubmit it, and submit it. So yeah, so that's the reason why. So the 2 days is to cover one day all over the globe.
Okay.
Right.
I want to answer one thing here before we go on, because it's this question here. It comes up almost every call, and people, it's about the multiple blockchains. Now, listen, you guys, if you're struggling doing your submission fees on one chain, I don't know what makes people think that the majority of the current user base is going to want to spend that same amount on submission fees on 6 other chains. Okay, you would have to take $1.80 times that by 6, so you're looking at $12 a day instead of $1.80 a day. Would that have an impact on the market value? Yes, it would, but that's not our goal. Our goal is to get those proof of physical activity fees down as low as possible, and it's about building the community and sharing this magnificent app with the world. It's about the bodies that are using our blockchain. It's about the stories that they'll tell. We want to grow, okay? We don't want to take proof of physical activity fees from the same person on 6 chains. We'd rather you be able to use those mere miners and lease them out to 6 other users that aren't using MoveQuest and increase our user count. That helps our blockchain, that helps our wallet. So get that to, like, I don't want to like keep having to cross over that question, because to me it doesn't make sense. Okay, yes, if you want to submit on all 6 chains, go for it. But why not be able to submit on one chain, lease out your mirrored miners on the 6 other chains to 6 other people that can benefit from it, increasing our community by 6 people, versus you having to spend the proof of physical activity on 6 different chains? To me, that doesn't make sense, because guess what? There is still only going to be 4,100 MoveQuest tokens that can be mined. So if that were the case, why even put those 6 other blockchains up? Why not just increase the submission fees by 6, and you pay 6 times the submission fee to get the same amount of MoveQuest? The goal here is to make sure you've got those miners so you can submit on those chains. Okay, for example, if there's other projects on those chains and they are going to use MoveQuest, right, to mine their token, you may want to submit on that blockchain so you can get their tokens. Or you can lease those miners out to other people who are familiar with those different blockchains. But the ultimate goal is to get as many people using the MoveQuest blockchain as possible. Millions of people on the MoveQuest blockchain would be amazing. That doesn't mean they're going to all be mining the MoveQuest token at that point, but it's all about building up our community, okay, so that we can offer them what the MoveQuest blockchain has, our secure MQT Pay wallet, the ability to become physically fit and more healthy using our MoveQuest fitness app and mining. But I don't want this community to start thinking like, okay, growing isn't important because we can just submit on 6 chains, because that defeats the purpose of what our goal is. We want to expand. We want to share MoveQuest with the world. I don't want you to have to pay $12, or if you're mining with Titans, I mean, that's going to cost you $50 a day. Who wants to do that? Is it really worth it to you to do that? I don't think so. I don't think it would be worth it. It doesn't even make sense to me. So this gets asked a lot, and I'm probably not going to answer it again because to me it doesn't make any sense to me. I don't want the community to have to spend 6 times more on their physical activity because we opened up on these blockchains. That wasn't the reason behind opening up these additional blockchains. It was about expanding our reach to broader audiences. That was it. So you guys got to stop thinking like that. Those of you who are, those of you who aren't, then you've already kind of figured this out. And I get what you're trying to think, like you're trying to rationalize this out. Well, if we didn't grow, we could still do this. That isn't the way to think. That's not how we're thinking. And I really don't want you guys to do that. I wouldn't even encourage you to do that. Only submit on those chains if you absolutely have a reason to do it. Always submit on the MoveQuest blockchain. Maybe pick another one if you want to, right? Because you're going to use your MoveQuest token. You're validating. There's a reason to do that. Maybe, I'm just giving you guys my honest opinion. I am not going to recommend that to anybody because it just doesn't make logical sense to me. Yeah, is it going to bring more money in, for the liquidity pool? Yeah, it is. But that's not the goal here. Yes, it's feeding more liquidity into the pool, but you're spending more money for the same amount of MoveQuest. That's not what you want to do. So hopefully you guys that I didn't come across rude on that. I just want to be really clear on that because I think it's really important that that's not the objective here of the additional blockchains. And I really don't want you guys to try to focus on that being your goal. Your goal would be to be able to lease out those miners, and you can make additional revenue from leasing your digital assets. That's what you should be thinking about. Not about having to spend more money to submit the same proof of physical activity on the same chain for the same amount of MoveQuest. Doesn't make sense. Okay. I've lost track of where that I was even at. Is there any other questions there? Sorry, that one was important to me. I want to make sure everybody understands that. I don't want people spending money they don't need to spend, and I just think that that's not the right way to think about it.
Here's one. This is one that actually came in through Discord. With the first round of the Tier 4 Golden Hatchery being up in about 3 weeks or so, does the smart contract take into any consideration that there might be, a certain percentage of those people who may want to, sell some of their tokens at that time?
There are people that are already selling when they come out of the Golden Hatchery, and if you'll notice, okay, for example, Tier 4 is almost full. It's going to stay that way because there's no expansion right now for those hatcheries, and there probably won't be for quite some time, right? Because there's an equation that's calculated there, and we already only have like 173,000 MoveQuest tokens in circulation. With growth, the demand for that token is going to increase, which means the market value is going to increase. People are going to sell, right? That's the only time that those hatcheries are going to open up. So you're not going to see a lot of people come out of those hatcheries because they're just way too valuable. Okay. When you take that proof of physical activity, if you're in the hatchery, even if you only have $100 in the hatchery, $10, $20, it doesn't matter. You're getting an additional amount of MoveQuest every single day that you submit that proof of physical activity, and those add up quick. So the majority of people will not come out of I would probably say most won't come out of Tier 5. That's probably a good lockdown right there. So you guys are going to want to have your finger on the pulse, right? Because if you're in the nest, you want to be in that nest so that as soon as there's room, you can move and do smaller cards right in your nest. I'm just giving you guys a tip, because if 100 100 MoveQuest are claimed out of, let's say, tier 4, and you've got a card with 105, you're going to want to, do them, or 10, only 10 comes open. Do your cards in intervals of 20, 10, 20, 50, something like that, so that you can get into that, take up that space in that tier 4. I would guess that that'll probably be done in the next day or two as far as space goes. Then it's only 1, 2, and 3 that's available. And 3 is really good too. 1 and 2, they're shorter. There's not as much of a farming reward there. And when people come out of 1, 2, and I haven't paid too much attention to 3. That stays pretty solid. But 1 and 2, those get sold on a regular basis when they come out of there. So what I am noticing from the hatcheries is your tier 3, tier 4, and tier 5, they're there for the long term. Okay, they went into those tiers because of the farming rate. They're probably going to stay there, the majority of them. I mean, there will be room that opens, no doubt about it. And we've had people that have had to claim cards. You'll see a couple thousand, it'll drop in the tier 4, and they were sold. That's fine. People will take those spaces up. So we're not worried about it. We don't have that worry when it comes to our liquidity pool. It's not a deep liquidity pool, but you got to think there's only active 2,000 users on a day-to-day basis, 1,700 to 2,000 actually, because once the mirrored miners was done, a lot of people, kind of tempered down on the submitting. But they, even with the selling of the MoveQuest, it hasn't affected that liquidity pool. It's still got 1.1, almost 1.2 million in it, but where there's only 173,000 MoveQuest tokens with a very small community that's engaged. So it actually is a very solid liquidity pool. So if people are going to sell, that's okay. The ecosystem absorbs it, and it loves to get as much of that MoveQuest as it can back into that liquidity vault, because that's that future liquidity. Imagine when, the MoveQuest token, let's say, is, $100. It only takes one MoveQuest, right? Where today it takes 18 MoveQuest to pair it to $100, something like that. So it's going to become more and more valuable, that liquidity vault. So never worry about what people are going to sell or not. Of course, we'd love it when they let the market value stabilize. It's such a pretty thing, especially then the ecosystem can come in and do what it needs to do. But if they sell it, it's no biggie. You've never seen it crash yet, because and Waleed will tell you himself, MoveQuest can't be bankrupted. Okay, it's not a bankruptable system, because it's a self-generating system based on the engagement of the users. So everybody you're good.
Perfect. I want to answer this one real quick. They're asking, how do we get what happens, or where do our Q chips go after we claim them? They're going to be in your wallet after you claim. If you have it, you need to make sure you go to the website. And I just wanted to play with the new dashboard. But on here, you can see where you can go down here to where it says contract addresses. If you click on contract addresses, you can come here and get the Q-Chip token contract address, and you can add it to your wallet so that you can see the Q-Chip balance in your wallet.
Yep.
That's how you're able to see. Go ahead, Waleed.
No, I just said yep. I was agreeing with you.
Okay,
Waleed
okay,
didn't
my
say
bad. I thought
nothing.
he was saying something. All right, so just wanted to
Yeah.
add.
Do you guys like the ease of that dashboard better? I mean, does it help you navigate and find things easier? Good.
It definitely helps me when I'm in my car trying to find something.
Herschel, you're supposed to do that.
Let's see what we got here. Boom, 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 boom. And and Waleed, you can chime in on. We had another gentleman who was trying to evolve some miners on the test net. Would the work that you're doing right now have impacted that as well?
Yeah,
Yeah. Okay.
yeah. The work is on the whole blockchain. So we
Okay.
are testing new things out. We are testing the new code for the main blockchain on the testnet right now. So it's being implemented.
All right.
That's why you can encounter the issues right there.
I'm not sure what he's referencing here, but same gentleman. Also, is there a conversion rate ratio for the MoveQuest on the Binance Smart Chain to the MQT wrapped once it goes live?
Not yet.
Well, the ratio would be linked to the USD value anyway,
Okay.
just
Right,
like
but
right now.
no, not the USD value. It'd be linked to the MoveQuest value, Waleed, because if somebody has, let's say, 5,000 MoveQuest over there, you got to make sure that the 5,000 MoveQuest here is going to represent what they have there as far as that market value. I have to do the numbers yet still. So like you can't if I'm not going to go too deep into it as of yet. It's because what I want to make sure is that it doesn't kill the ecosystem, which it shouldn't because of the dynamic mining. So we should be good there. There's not that many in circulation over there. It's less than 100,000 MoveQuest tokens over there. If I can do it, MoveQuest for MoveQuest, we will. But I have to make sure that the numbers make sense. And I'm still working on that. So I can't guarantee, Wally, that it's going to be one dollar for dollar or MoveQuest to MoveQuest. Just, I know what you're thinking on your end, but I'm thinking on tokenomics end of it. And so I got to make sure that that's all going to work first, because here's what I'm going to tell you. Let's say that you spent $100, right, for 100 MoveQuest, and I give you 100. We swap them out, 100 for 100. Okay, at today's market value, is it can it absorb it? Is the demand there for it? Or do we take what you spent and give you that market value? That's a lot of what it depends on. I have to weigh this all out and make sure that everything works. Or we'll do a slower conversion on that with the wrapped. You may only be able to convert X amount. So I'm working it all out. Whatever we do, it will make sense, it will be fair, and it will be completely, everybody will be fine with it. But I cannot, it's not anybody's, I don't know how to say this without sounding rude. It's just the way the system worked as far as, being on the Binance Smart Chain, then being on the Avalanche chain, then coming up with our own blockchain, having these wrapped. If we do the full conversion, MoveQuest for MoveQuest, you may not be able to convert them all at the same time. It may be a time released conversion. Okay, to maintain all of the hard work that has gone in on the Avalanche chain. Not to sound rude or crass, but yes, there's a lot of there's only a couple hundred people on the Binance Smart chain itself, right? But there are a lot of them that are not over on the Avalanche chain. So are they supportive of the Avalanche chain, or is it going to be 90,000 MoveQuest tokens dumped on the Avalanche chain? That's what I won't let happen. So I have to weigh all that out, do all the math, make sure it's all making sense. Then we'll let you know. Because whatever does happen, it will also be, protecting what's already been built and what's already solid on the Avalanche chain. The Binance Smart Chain can't disrupt the Avalanche chain. So hopefully that makes sense as to what we're saying here.
Gotcha. And
Um,
I know you've mentioned this before, but just for clarification, on the new blockchains, yes, we will have boosts just like we have now on the Avalanche chain. There'll be boosts on all the
Yep.
chains. And the
Yes.
hatchery access to the existing hatcheries will be made available for people that are on each one of the blockchains, but it will not be new hatcheries separate and apart on each blockchain.
Right. It would still have the same max value. So it'd still be one hatchery, but kind of like bridged or wrapped, right, Waleed? Is that how you're going to make that happen with these other chains and those hatcheries?
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, a few questions
So
about
if
the
you've got the
hatcheries,
wrap
actually.
token, let's say on Polygon, if there's a max amount in tier 4 of 765,000 and there's 607 or 764,000 already, farming in there, that only leaves 1,000. 1,000 across all chains, just so everybody understands. So it doesn't matter what chain you're wrapped on, the MoveQuest or whatever is you're holding that you're putting in the hatchery, it still would abide to the same max amount.
And we had one gentleman said that they don't see a contract address for USDT. USDT is native to your wallet, so don't click on custom token. Just go into your wallet and just type in USDT, and it should automatically be available to you there. You don't have to add a custom address for that. Should already be there.
Hey, any of you guys like gummies? The Shekalicious Slams are really, really good.
Oh, you say gummies. I'm like, what you talking
Yeah,
about over
Shaq
there,
came
man?
out with some new gummies, and they are good. From the big, what's it say? I'm just eating these amazing gummies from the biggest kid in the candy store. I love them. They're so good.
Gotcha.
I
Okay.
used to be a Skittles girl, but now I'm a Shekalicious.
Gotcha. Okay. Man, they just keep coming, man.
Well, we're gonna have to cut them off here shortly because we're almost going on 9 o'clock.
Okay. All right, 2 more questions. Let's see. I'll let you and Wally pick one each, and we'll go ahead and let everybody out for the night.
Okay, I'm going to respond to the hatcheries questions. There are many. So, to the question, can you stay in the nest after the date, I mean, comes due? So, yeah, you can stay in the nest, but the period that you spend over the 10 days is not rewarded. You can also stay in the golden hatchery, but the period that is afterward is not rewarded after the end of the card. You can renew your card in the hatchery. It doesn't require to look to the max, I mean, to the max capacity of the hatchery because you are already there. So you can renew with that value. But if it's the case, like the hatchery tier 5 now, right now, which is totally full, if you renew, you can only renew with the original amount because this is the place that you've took and you can renew it with. So you renew with the original amount and you withdraw the remaining into your wallet. If that makes sense. So that's my response to the hatcheries, to the nest. And yeah, you can stay there. It doesn't expire, but you don't get rewarded after the date when the card ends. So
Got it. And Miss Lynette, get you one for the road, and we'll let these fine people have the rest of their evening.
What is the last one? I'm not even in the questions
Oh,
anymore.
my
You'll have
bad.
to tell me what it was.
It's like it's so many of them. It's like I was just saying, close your eyes.
yeah.
Pick
There is one question I wanted to respond to, which is if you submit on Avalanche, so if you submit on Avalanche or you submit on the other blockchain, it would be the same. It would even be the same if you submit yesterday on Avalanche and today on another blockchain like Polygon or Binance Smart Chain or MoveQuest chain. So because the whole system is linked, so we are controlling the supply of MQT on each blockchain. So we stay in the range of the total supply. We also control the hatcheries and their capacity across the chains. So basically, you can do the same. So to give an extreme example, you can have a wallet that is submitting on 2 blockchains, or you have one wallet that is, or 2 wallets submitting in the same blockchain. You would get the same number of MQT. You would get the same reward.
So let me ask you this. Let's say I'm in the Avalanche chain. Okay, I'm in the tier 4 on Avalanche, but I submitted on Polygon today. That would count for me, right?
No,
Even
no,
though I'm
no.
no, I would have to stake on the Avalanche chain. Okay, I wanted to make sure that
Yeah,
was clarified because I wasn't even
yeah,
sure myself on that one.
yeah. So we are bridging, but when we bridge, we are bridging the MoveQuest and the rapid MoveQuest across the chain, so we can control that. But we want to minimize at the extreme any operation that is off chain, because any operation that is off chain is a risky operation. So if you have a hatchery in the Avalanche, you need to submit to Avalanche to be able to mark it as a submitted day for that hatchery,
Okay,
and so on.
that's good to know.
Yeah, we
You
only
too.
bridge global. We only bridge global values like hatchery capacity, like MoveQuest supply on each blockchain to keep it all consistent, and we do not bridge personal assets or personal values. So you are always master of your portfolio, or I mean, of your wallet, of your investment. So
Yes, you guys, that's a big key thing too to realize. We do not have any control over any, this is all managed by smart contracts. You're in total control, 100%. We provide the features, they're all smart contract managed. You're not waiting on us to pay you. You don't have to worry about whether, we're handling, the funds right, because everything's escrowed in smart contracts. Your money is right there instantly, immediately. All you do is make a call to the smart contract, and Waleed has created all those buttons in the app and on the Web3. So you manage your entire system. You don't lose here, period.
Got it. Well, all right, both of you, we definitely appreciate the time you've given us this evening, almost 2 hours. So we're going to give everybody a chance to go ahead and enjoy the rest of their evening. Just let me know, Miss Lynette, when you're ready, and we will go from there. And to everyone, y'all have a wonderful rest of your evening and a rest of the week, and we will see you guys on Thursday. Good night, everyone.
Oh, and listen was this Leonard's new track?
Yes, ma'am.
Listen closely. In a world of digital noise, your movement is the only truth that cannot be faked. Your sweat is the signature. Your heartbeat is the ledger. Today, we aren't just burning calories, we are mining potential. Identity verified. It's time to submit your data. It's time to show the world. This is the proof of physical activity. Mining the wealth through the harsh liquidity. Check MoveQuest.com. See the balance rise in the heat of the hustle. The legend survives. Move for the riches that money can't buy. Proof of activity, never say die. The asphalt is my office, the sunrise of my clock. I'm breaking the chains and I'm picking the lock. I don't need a vault, I don't need a key. I'm building the power inside of me. Open the gateway, MoveQuest is the site where the sweat of the morning meets the digital light. The clock is a liar, the pavement is true. The only one chasing your ghost is you. Convert the kinetic, ignite the spark. Leave your signature in the dark. This is the proof of physical activity. Mining the wealth through the harsh liquidity. Check MoveQuest.com. See the balance rise in the heat of the hustle. The legend survives. Move for the riches that money can't buy. Proof of activity, never say die. Your DNA is the blockchain, secure and deep. The rewards are the secrets that the lazy can't keep. Muscles are forging, the iron is hot. I'm taking the trophies the others forgot. It's a high, your life is a long-term play. I'm cashing in the calories starting today. Left foot, move. Right foot, quest. Log the miles, put it to the test. Visit the site, we're building a kingdom that'll never go down. MoveQuest.com. Future is here. This is the proof of physical activity. Mining the wealth through the harsh liquidity. Check MoveQuest.com. See the balance rise in the heat of the hustle. The legend survives. Move for the riches that money can't buy. Proof of activity, never say die. Transaction verified. is the currency. Movement is the mandate of activity.